You got it? Mim checked on James. Turning his whole body due to the monster, James nodded. I got it. I won't be able to run, but I'll at least be able to walk at a fast pace. He grinned as he answered. It'll also be a good workout for me. Even though we get stronger due to the energy, simple exercises can also help, though it's far from as efficient. Mim nodded approvingly at James's answer. The older adventurer likely understood that the forest cat wasn't easy for James to carry. This was seen as Mim increased the pace at which he was tying up the rabbits, creating a long chain of the animals to make them easier to carry. Even though it had only been a few moments since he lifted the forest cat and placed it on his shoulder, James already felt as though it were a workout. He wasn't to the point of sweating due to the cool air, but knowing that he'd have to walk for some time through the forest while having the large monster on his shoulder, James knew that it wasn't going to be easy. Mim stood up with the rope resting on his shoulder. The older adventurer didn't look to have as much trouble carrying the rope with the rabbits tied to it. James felt jealous about Mim's level, knowing how much stronger the older adventurer was. It's not like I could easily carry what Mim is carrying, Jim thought to himself. The rabbits appeared lighter, but was only due to Mim being significantly stronger than James. James knew that Mim was right about needing to leave behind rabbits if James wasn't able to carry the forest cat. It would have meant that the cat person would have been responsible for the heavier monster, but a few of the rabbits would need to be left behind in order to allow James to carry it. Let's head out, Mim said. James smiled, knowing that their journey was going to be a long one. You sure you're going to be okay? Mim asked again. I need to get used to carrying a monster, Jim said. He understood that Mim was just concerned, but James felt like it was essential to be able to carry his own weight on the request. This will help me to become a stronger adventurer. The request is hard enough as it is, he said. Let me know if it gets too heavy, Mim said, as he walked back towards the camp. It might be hard, but I think we can make it back to camp before nightfall, he said optimistically. Just try to keep up with my pace, and we should make it. James just nodded. He didn't want to use precious bodily resources by verbally acknowledging Mim's words. The two of them began walking towards the camp. Though their pace wasn't at the level of a jog, it was definitely faster than a fast-paced walk. After enough time passed, James could begin to feel his body sweat, but not significantly. It was the kind of sweat to alert an individual that they were starting to exert significant effort in their task. James didn't focus on how far they had gone during the walk, but instead just focused on staying close to Mim. He knew that concentrating on a single task would help avoid thinking about the large and heavy monster being carried. James also made sure to maintain a slow and steady breath. Breathing was important since having a faster rhythm would cause his body to get worn out sooner. But pacing his breathing would improve his chances of not getting worn out before they reached the camp. Mim would look back to make sure that James was keeping up every now and then. A part of him worried that Mim would increase the pace, but that wasn't something James had to worry about. Mim understood that the current pace was pushing James's abilities to the extreme, so he didn't walk any faster. At the same time, Mim was making sure that they'd be able to make it back at a safe time. I can only imagine what would happen if he failed to arrive at our camp before sunset. James felt a shiver run through his body. If something were to happen, his body was in no condition to handle a threat more severe than the forest cat he was carrying back. It was possible that even something weaker than a forest cat would be too much.